About 2 miles west of here, on the southwest corner of 7th and Main Streets, stands Fort Nelson Park. Is it off? Excellent. In front of the park are a few engraved stones. They mark the development of Louisville through a series of hand-drawn maps and names of prominent Kentuckians, along with a few relevant biographical details. I'm standing here today to bring your attention to a man whose name is on 2 of those stones, Gilbert Imlay. One stone tells us that Imlay was in Louisville in 1793, while another states that he, quote, visited Louisville after the Revolution. The town had grown to the banks of the Ohio River. A clear portage around the falls had been established, unquote. But what does this tell us about Gilbert Imlay? Did he have something to do with increasing the navigability of the Ohio? And if not, what makes him so important that he should deserve to be honored here in this slab of pavement in the sidewalk? Surely you would like to know. In fact, according to a recently published biography of Imlay by Dutch academic and Kentucky Colonel Will Verhoeven, Imlay was nowhere near Kentucky in 1793. He visited Louisville from 1783 to 1785. Imlay, originally from New Jersey, was an adventurer. And like many young Revolutionary War veterans, he set off down the Ohio River to make money in land speculation. He was a charmer who ingratiated himself with the most prominent individuals of the day. And in the spring of 1784, with very little experience, he became deputy land surveyor of Jefferson County under George May. But instead of performing the surveys himself, Imlay used the position to facilitate his own real estate transactions. His business actually was to buy tens of thousands of acres on borrowed money and to sell them off quickly, before he had to pay his creditors, and often before the deed was ever even transferred to his name. His quick maneuvering meant that, on some occasions, he received money for land that never belonged to him. Spending the money as fast as he could earn it, he failed to pay off many of his debts, and for this, he became a wanted man, not only in Kentucky, but up and down the East Coast, too, where his aggrieved business partners were trying to track him down. To escape retribution, Imlay disposed of his land holdings and sailed for Europe. The last known record of him in America dates to no later than 1787. Imlay next appeared in London in 1792, where he turned his knowledge of Kentucky into a book, a topographical description of the Western Territory of North America. Its perfect timing and its appeal to the political utopianism made the book the most well-known guide to the Western frontier. Imlay portrayed Kentucky as the ideal paradise for settlement by political idealists who saw post-revolution America as a place to establish their own personal utopias. As such, the book established Imlay as a leading liberal in the debate surrounding the French Revolution, and in 1793, he moved to Paris. Upon his arrival, he made the acquaintance of Mary Wollstonecraft, the British defender of women's rights. Wollstonecraft had recently gained fame as the author of a groundbreaking proto-feminist text, A Vindication of the Rights of Woman. In her book, she was the first to extend political and social rights to women. But despite the self-assurance in her professional life, she fell prey to Imlay's seducing charms and agreed to a sexual relationship with him out of wedlock. In that same year, Imlay published a second book, his first and only novel, The Immigrants. It depicted the formation of a utopian community in Jefferson County, Kentucky, and was the first novel to be written about the region. In it, he too called for more equal treatment of women and argued for their right to seek a divorce from their spouses. Wonder why? This bold stance, and the fact the author was a man, makes this book a significant contribution to proto-feminist writings of the Enlightenment. The couple were together for 3 years. During this time, Wollstonecraft bore him a child, and towards the end of their relationship, Imlay sent both of them on an illegal shipping venture all around the coasts of Scandinavia, only to fall for another woman before they returned. Wollstonecraft was so distraught over his abandonment that she wrote him a book's worth of pathetic, gut-wrenching letters and attempted to commit suicide twice. The details of her unconventional life with Imlay were made public in a posthumous tell-all biography in 1797, erupting in a scandal that would destroy her reputation and debunk her book, Rights of Woman. Critics believed her philosophy would lead other women to choose an immoral life, having children out of wedlock and becoming slaves to their overwrought emotions. This conservative fear single-handedly closed down the debate on women's rights at the turn of the century, forcing women back into the home until they launched their cause again at the Seneca Falls Convention in New York in 1848. So who was Gilbert Imlay? He was a heartless philanderer, a notorious land speculator, an opportunistic businessman, and a plagiarist. His name is on the stone at Fort Nelson Park today because of a map that appeared in his book, Topographical Description. Yet most of the maps and text published in this book were plagiarized or minimally altered from the works of others, including that of John Filson, after whom the Filson Historical Society is named. This begs the question then, why isn't Filson's name on any of these stones? And if Imlay's name must be there, then due credit should be given, or then the date should be corrected, and more of his past should be told. The stone should mention either his proto-feminist novel, The Immigrants, or his relationship with Wollstonecraft, the most highly regarded proto-feminist of the 18th century. Due credit should be given to the woman whose broken heart made Imlay's name known to posterity. His seduction of her ruined her reputation, and its effect on the public reception of rights of woman suggests that he is at least in part responsible for the progress of feminism having been set back over 40 years. During Imlay's time in Europe, the native of New Jersey allowed people to believe that he was a Kentuckian to sell his book. If he wished to be an adopted son of this great state, then we should also adopt our connection to his lover and the mother of his child, Mary Wollstonecraft.